Dr. Dennis, welcome back to the program. We're only a few days out. Do you care or to make a prediction or pick a winner in this fight for government of the Northern Territory?
Oh, no, look, I think, I'll stick to the platitude that the voters always get it right. But I think it's really important that we understand that when we go to an election, we're not electing a government. We're electing members of a parliament. We're electing people to go and be our representatives. We're electing a local person to go and speak up for our priorities. Now, they tend to get into parliament and form parties and work together on things, but, I think we've kind of so focused on which party is going to win that we often don't talk about the actual role of members of parliament, and in turn, that's why we tend to ignore independents and minor parties in conversations like this.
Well, what are you hearing about the independent vote for this election?
Oh, look, there's certainly a lot of interest. There's more candidates than running from ever before. There's certainly a lot of activity on the ground. I've had staff up there doing events recently talking about some of the issues that people are concerned about. All of the feedback is that there's a lot of enthusiasm from volunteers and door knockers for independence. Whether voters go along with that or not is entirely up to them. They have to ask themselves at the ballot box, which person do I think in Parliament is going to speak up for the issues that I care most about? And by definition, in democracy, voters get it right.
We've seen a lot of people voting early. I spoke to Anthony Green, our election analyst, at the opening of the early polls, and he said, no, we expect quite a few people to vote early. It is now part of voter behaviour. From your point of view, is that what you think, or is it suggesting that people are keen for a change in government?
Oh, look, I think the reality is a lot of people just find it a lot more convenient to vote ahead of time, and that's a good thing. We want to have a high voter engagement in Australia. Personally, I like showing up on polling day. I like getting my sausage. I literally like standing there surrounded by other citizens, kind of going through my democratic ritual every couple of years. But if it makes it easier for people to vote, I don't think we should worry about that or read too much into it.
Yeah, we are hearing from quite a few people on the streets of Darwin over the major parties leaning towards the independents.
The party system is flawed. It's a bit like people voting for their favourite football team. It's not sport. The whole system needs a relook, and I'm happy to see more independence.
Some people are independent. Independent is not a different story. The party is not really good.
I'm thinking it would be good if the independents held the balance of power.
All I've noticed is the two-headed dictator, which is democracy, but there's two heads to it, and it's Liberal and Labor and nothing else.
I think it's important to get independence in for people to follow their own beliefs and not just follow party lines.
I mean, we've seen the behaviour elsewhere, both federally and in some of the other jurisdictions, the state elections, that the independents are playing a much more significant role and the Greens are playing a much more significant role. Is it a possibility we get more independents?
Absolutely. Yeah, look, absolutely. I mean, again, it's up to voters who they want to put in there, but increasingly people are kind of looking further down the menu of choices rather than thinking they just have to choose between McDonald's and Burger King. Some people are looking around and finding there's quite a lot of other options available. Now, a lot of people and a lot of media commentary often suggests that if you vote for independents or minor parties, you get chaos or hung parliaments. But of course, the reality is in New South Wales, our largest state, it's a minority government at the moment. Coming to you from Canberra at the moment, we've had a minority government here for 15 years. I assure you everyone's fine. We keep re-electing a minority government here. So, again, what people have to realise is you literally get the governments you vote for. It's become really fun, it's become really cynical to complain about governments in Australia, but by definition, they're there because that's who people vote for. So if you're happy with them, vote for them. If you're not happy with them, vote for someone else.
On another matter, we're hearing that signage from the Australia Institute was ordered to be taken down near the airport in Darwin and replaced by billboards of a major resources company. What was on your advertisement and what can you tell us?
Yeah, worse than that, they wouldn't even put it up. We tried to take out an ad pointing out that Northern Territory motorists pay 30 times more in revenue to the Northern Territory government than the gas industry. And the Darwin Airport didn't want to run an ad. So unfortunately, it's very hard to have well-informed voters making good decisions when private companies are making decisions about what information people can see. And I think most people will be surprised to learn that car registration and things contribute far more to Northern Territory government than the gas industry. But the reason they're surprised to hear it is because you're not allowed to say it up there.
So you had asked to put a billboard up at the airport. Those billboards are not cheap, and they had refused you. Is that what happened? That's
exactly what happened. And to be clear, we've taken out billboards in other jurisdictions. We've got a billboard up in Western Australia making a similar point about the West Australian government at the moment. But to be clear, I'm not blaming the government for this. We just wanted to spend our money to take out an ad in the way that the gas industry spends a lot of their money taking out a lot of ads, but unfortunately we weren't given the opportunity to speak to Northern Territorians about that. And I think the real loss there is for Northern Territorians. How can they make an informed vote? How can they make an informed decision in an election if they're not given good information about the reality of the NT budget?
And what was the reason from the airport for refusing your business?
Oh, look, I hope you ring and ask them that. That'd be a really good thing for everybody to know, I think, because even regardless of what you think about the gas industry, we should all have strong views about freedom of speech in a democracy.
Yep, good on you. Thank you so much this morning, Richard. It's good to hear from you. We'll follow that up.